Hello and welcome to Next Stop Anywhere. This is Eric, and today I'm going to be discussing my top 10 do's and don'ts of visiting Berlin. So let's hop right into it. Now, I know it's been a long time since I've posted my last video. Quarantine has been tough on everyone, but I'm hoping to jump right back into it. So if you want to see more content like this video, my last video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I will also be posting another video just rating my opinion on the various attractions of Berlin and which ones I feel like you should definitely make sure you see. So hopping right into it, I'm just going to start with my first do. I do recommend learning a little bit of German. Now, this actually goes against what a lot of other people recommend when visiting the city, because pretty much everyone in Berlin speaks English. I was amazed just going to the mall food court and everybody was just speaking to me in English. And typically, if you respond with broken German, they will just make sure they speak to you in English. But I think it's just part of, one, respecting the culture, just learning a bit of the language, even just the occasional, Dankeschön or something will just get you so far. That being said, I do want to give some tips if you do try to start speaking some German. I went with some other American tourists, and there's two kinds of Americans when they speak German. There's those that go Hitler-esque, and then there's those that sound like theater kids trying to do a German accent. It's either Guten Tag or Guten Tag, and there's no in between. Just speak normally. Going into my second do, make sure you have cash handy. If you're coming from the States, odds are you're used to using these little things called credit cards, debit cards, etc. Cards are everywhere in America. You pretty much can't get by without a credit card. But it's the opposite in Germany. Most places didn't actually accept a card outside the big stores, so you really need to make sure you have some euros handy at all times. Do. Make sure you try some currywurst. Now, okay, it's not just currywurst, of course. It's just Germany has some amazing food. From the street vendors to the grocery stores, the food there is amazing, specifically the bread. Going from a crappy piece of Wonder Loaf to a freaking Brot or whatever, it's a huge difference. So make sure you actually try the food. But on that note, make sure you don't just try the German food. Berlin is a global city. They truly have cultures from all over the globe. So you can find tons of varieties of food. Whether you're looking for vegetarian options, Mexican options, Asian options, you will find any food you want. Some of my greatest memories from Berlin were actually eating at a Georgian restaurant. The food was spectacular. I actually went there on my birthday. Do make sure you check out the less touristy parts of Berlin. I'm saying this because, of course, there's the main things everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see the Brandenburger Tor. Everybody wants to see Museum Island. But there's so much to explore. I think what a lot of people don't realize before going to Berlin is it is a big city. It is massive. You could easily spend weeks in Berlin and still not have seen everything. But some of my favorite memories came from seeing the less touristy parts of Berlin. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the tourist sections. Museum Island, stunning. The Brandenburger Tor, astounding. They're stunning. But there's just so much more to see. One of my favorite memories was going with my friends to a place called Teufelsberg. A side note, if you want to learn more about various attractions in Berlin, both the famous and the not so famous, I'm going to be making a separate video on that, so make sure you subscribe to see that. Moving on to my last do, make sure you go to the Holocaust Memorial. The Genocide Memorial right next to the Brandenburger Tor, the memorial to the murdered Jews, I believe it's called, I don't remember exactly. It's a must-do. I have a lot more to say on the subject. Like I said in my other video, there's a lot you can say about the memorial, but it's one of those things that you just have to see while you're there. Moving on to my first don't, however. Don't be a at the memorial. The memorial is to the millions of people murdered during the Holocaust. Germany has come a long ways with accepting that history, and they do a wonderful job presenting these memorials. The problem is the people who go don't seem to care. You're walking through the giant gray blocks of the memorial, and you have people bouncing and jumping and playing hide and seek and shouting and screaming and littering. It's not respectful. If you are going to go to this memorial, just please do everyone a favor and be respectful. Second don't. Don't for the love of God, save your shopping for Sunday. This was the biggest culture shock leaving America and going to Berlin. Everything's closed on Sunday. I saved all of my grocery shopping for Sunday, because that's what I do in America, and well, let's just say I had to go without food for a week. So let's just say I ate a lot of currywurst. But yes, make sure you do your shopping on Saturday if you really love weekend shopping. On the bright side though, Tons of amazing supermarkets in Berlin, plus a lot of great farmers markets if that's more your style. Don't forget to have your train ticket. Now, I will assert that buses are fair game if you don't want to pay a ticket. I recommend it, but they're fair game. I'll admit I've gone through many buses without paying for it. Trains, however, I wouldn't recommend. Germany kind of goes on an honor system where you just have your ticket, you climb on the train, but every once in a while someone will climb on the train to check for tickets, and if you are caught without a ticket, the fine is pretty hefty. Now, fortunately, this never happened to me, but I saw quite a few people have to quickly jump off the train. I distinctly remember one man who didn't have his ticket, and as soon as the doors opened while the ticket collector was talking to him, he bolted and she bolted after him, and I watched them bolt up the stairs onto the street, never to be heard from again. Let's just say his punishment was probably tough. Another don't. Don't jaywalk. Specifically, just follow the traffic rules. There's a lot of traffic rules in Berlin, and if you break them, I assure you, you will die. If you try jaywalk like I did and someone starts screaming at you that you're a dirty American, you'll feel like you want to die. Likewise, don't walk in the bike lanes. You will die. The bike will not stop for you. You will think that the bike will see you and stop, but they will not. They will run you over. You are just an obstacle in their path, and they will hit you. So, if you want to stay alive, just follow the traffic rules, especially if you have the little Ampelman dude saying stop. And then my final don't is just don't act like an American. That's a catch-all phrase, but you just have to remember you're in a different country, so they have different cultural values. For example, while here it may seem perfectly normal to talk very loud on the subway and just be very obnoxious, because that's okay. It's okay to talk loud. That's not really how they operate there, you know? I started talking out loud on the subway and I got quite a few people glaring at me. It's just you have to remember you're in a different place, so there's different cultural values, so you just gotta make sure you abide by that. And well, those were my top 10 do's and don'ts of traveling to Berlin. Do you have any more you'd like to add to this list or any questions? Just let me know in the comments below. And like I said, I will be doing a video soon on my favorite attractions in Berlin, and then I'll be exploring some of the other German cities that I went to in later videos. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Yeah.